Brilliant. Thank you very much, Fiona, and thanks for the invite. So I'm going to start off with an example of postcard here that was from an event we ran a few years ago, where we asked autistic people and practitioners, clinicians, family members to write about their experience of autism. And this particular person said, if you are talking about me and making decisions about my life, make sure you talk to me and ask me what I want and I think and I need. And they addressed that to all teachers and professionals, but really that does apply to us researchers as well. And this gets at the essence of what Autism at Manchester is about. So it's about making sure autistic people are part of the research process. And it's really integral to translational research. Next slide, please. So what is Autism Manchester? We're a group or a network of autistic people, researchers, clinicians and practitioners who come together to create research that has real meaning for autistic people. If you can do the next button, please. The motivation behind forming Autism at Manchester was twofold. So firstly, there were concerns from the autistic community that researchers were not working on issues that were important to them. And also, autism affects so many different aspects of life. So, for example, the usual cognition, the social aspects, but sensory, motor, employment, it involves technology. There's just so many different disciplines that need to come together to work to understand various aspects of autism. So this is another aspect of Autism at Manchester. Next slide, please. And our key aims are to share knowledge and understanding around autism research and collaborate on the selection, design and conduct of research. And we do this through a number of initiatives. So in the middle of the circle on the left, you can see there's different initiatives. So we have a mailing list and newsletters. We have expert advisory groups, which I'll talk about briefly in a moment. We aim to do co-produced research, so that's research between researchers and autistic people. We run events and seminars, and we also produce a series of educational resources. Next slide, please. The key people involved, there's myself, who's the chair, and I also chair the expert by experience group as well. We've got Peter, who you'll be hearing from shortly, who's an autistic adult and CEO of Salford Autism, which is a support group for autistic people run by autistic people, and he's our coordinator. There's also Kathy Ledbetter, who's an autism researcher and our events coordinator. And we've got Eve Edmonds at the moment, who's a psychology intern with us, and she's helping with our communications. So these are the key people, but we also have a steering group that consists of academics, clinicians, autistic people and family members as well. Next slide, please. So how can Autism at Manchester help facilitate the translation of the research that you do? So there's a number of different aspects. So firstly, we can help improve the quality of research and grant successes. So one way of doing this is through our expert by experience group. And this consists of autistic people and family members who advise on research in a confidential manner. And this is at face-to-face meetings and also through a listserv group as well. And this really helps to improve research by helping us to avoid inappropriate research questions and the problems of stigmatizing language that can really build distrust between researchers and the autistic community. And Peter's going to be talking a little bit more about this in a moment. The group can help ensure that the priorities of autistic people are met, so that the priorities of researchers and the autistic people can come together to produce more translational research. And the group also helps improve the design and feasibility of your research. So For example, building trust increases the number of participants who are likely to want to take part in your research. Also, to make sure that when people participate, they're actually interpreting what you want them to do in the way you want them to interpret it, and not a different way. Next point, please. Thanks. The other thing we can do is promote your research and help you to be more connected. So we've got a mailing list, various social media outlets. And so through these, you can reach more participants and share your findings with the autistic community, as well as other researchers and practitioners. And then through the network and through the steering group, you can find new research partners and help keep informed of what's going on. Next point, please. And then finally, the Autism at Manchester can help with growing your experience. So we have a number of different resources and events. So in terms of resources, we've got a module on participatory research. So that's helping you learn how you can build involvement into your research. Also, another example is one of our PhD students who's autistic has developed some guidance on how to do text-based focus groups. So these are a little bit more inclusive for those people who don't actually want to do or find verbal communication quite difficult. We also run events which you may want to get involved in, so webinars, for example. You may want to deliver your own event. And all these can really increase your confidence in these participatory research practices and improve your science communication skills and consequently really help translate your research. Next point, please. So this bit here is just a reminder, really. So this is from the Translation at Manchester network of their different points in the translational pipeline. And really, you can come to Autism at Manchester at any particular point, so from basic research to the more applied research. But really, the earlier the better. Is more involvement you get, the better your research will be. Okay, so next slide. I think I'm passing on to Peter now. Yeah.
Apologies, everybody, for the lighting. I'm borrowing somebody else's office. Hi, my name is Peter Baimbridge, and I am as autistic as it gets, but probably not the picture of autism that you might have in your mind. That's because most people don't really know that much about the wider autistic community. In front of you at the moment, you have my thumbnail CV from a previous life. Next. What it doesn't tell you is the mental struggles that I've had throughout my career. Until, hello, at the age of 56, I'm finally diagnosed with autism and everything gets explained. A little bit annoying, but hey ho, life moves on. So I spent my time since then supporting other autistic people with their difficulties with real life experience. And as I checked on my phone the other day, I have personal direct contact with over 1,000 autistic individuals. I think that's pretty unprecedented for most organisations, let alone clinicians, etc. So it means that I can get you out to a lot of people and also get you a lot of different aspects of the autistic community coming back to communicate about whatever it is you wish to talk about. Next. So why is my involvement so crucial for translation? Next. Very simply, if you're not autistic, you really don't get it. When I first joined Autism at Manchester, none of the researchers knew any autistic people outside of the laboratory. That's just not realistic. You need to know more about the subject that you're researching, and we can help you do that. Next. So this is what we're trying to achieve for you. We want to help you to avoid inappropriate research questions. For example, investigating stimming. Stimming is the hand waving, flicking, tapping, whatever else that a lot of autistic people are supposed to do. I don't, but a lot do. And there seems to be this idea that it's something to be discouraged, when in fact stimming is actually an autistic person's way of self-regulating their own stress. And if you stop it, they will get more stressed and therefore appear to become more autistic until they reach a point where you can't communicate with them at all. So really figuring out how to stop this is probably pointless, but if you investigated it and found out how to resolve our need for it, that might be much more useful. There's also a lot of inappropriate stigmatizing language about, and first person identification is just not acceptable to most of us. We detest being called a person with autism or a person on the spectrum. And there's quite a wide variety of other potholes you can put your foot on that we can help you avoid. And of course, we've got all the inappropriate perceptions about autism, not least of which is that researchers tend to focus on deficits that are supposed to exist within autism. One aspect is the theory about the unusual gait that autistic people have. I'm not completely convinced myself, but rather than trying to fix something, maybe there's something useful we can learn by looking at gait research and maybe use it to decode more about how autistic people work so we can help to integrate them more. The same applies to the double empathy problem, this difficulty in communications both ways to autistic people and non-autistic people. If we learn more, there is an application to come out of this that can make life better for others. And then we've got just the classic inappropriate interpretations of data. In the 1950s and 60s, it was noted that many autistic boys had mothers with a very flat, unemotional presentation. And it was concluded that autism was caused by refrigerator mothers forcing their sons to be autistic. When in fact, what the data was showing them was, hello, an autistic person is likely to have an autistic mother and father, and we were getting blamed for everything all over again. Next. There's also the aspect of how a lot of researchers simply failed the community priorities. As Emma said before, you really should not be doing anything about me without me being involved. And you should be pursuing my prime objective, not what you think I would find useful. So please come to us, ask us. We will tell you what autistic people would like to have and what they're not interested in. And inevitably, this results in the sheer impact you would have on the lives concerned. I tire of reading research papers that are supposed to develop the latest, greatest, whatever it is to help autistic people, and realizing that if these people had but known about the autistic community, they're only helping a very, very tiny fraction of a much greater range of people that could have been helped, but you've missed. Now, inevitably, there are problems around design and feasibility of research because inevitably research into autism is in an area that most people can have no real concept of. There are lots of books and papers to learn, but it's not the same as living it. We can help you with this. And as Emma alluded to earlier, we can help with your recruitment. A lot of autistic people have learned to be highly suspicious of researchers, and for very good reason in the past. We can help guide you as to how not to upset autistic people in the first place, and perhaps to approach them in a way that they would find more acceptable. Moreover, people trust us because they know we work with them. So if we are introducing somebody to potential recruits, they're going to have fewer qualms about what they're being asked to do. Next. Please, we are here to help. Please get in touch. We will talk as long as you need to help you get it right. These are your email addresses. We're on campus. Please contact us.